Phil Hintz, Director of Technology for Gurnee School District 56 in Gurnee, Illinois, about an hour north of Chicago, an hour south of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we are a district pre-K through 8th grade district. We have 2,200 students in those grades. We have 4 buildings, and we demographically, we are, I would say, I think we're 39% Hispanic, 18% African American, 16% Caucasian, and the rest other. Okay, so we're, as my superintendent likes to call it, we are a little piece of Americana, is what he likes to call our district. We are in the middle of our second year of, or actually about ready to complete the second year of our very successful one-to-one iPad initiative in grades pre-K through 8th grade. Every one of our students, with the exception of pre-K, takes their iPads home, so it's been a home experience as well. And this past November, we earned the distinction of becoming an Apple Distinguished Program based on our one-to-one iPad initiative. And it's been a huge, not only success, but a transformation of education. When we did our first rollout, we purposely did it in December with the students because in September, we rolled out with our teachers first, so we gave them 4 months head start on the one-to-one initiative. And it just, within the very first week of rollout, and we started with our 8th graders, we did a grade level at a time, so we actually did 9 rollout nights over the course of 2 months' time. But even in the first week after our 8th graders received their iPads, and they were only going to receive them and have them for about 6 months before they would graduate and move on to the high school district. But within that first week, the level of engagement and attention and their just ability to maneuver the device, it was just unbelievable on our part. A lot of people ask us, what do we attribute this success to? And to be honest, I think for years we have asked our students to play by our rules and do things the way we want them to do things. And you have to turn in the assignment here, you have to do it this way, you have to do it for this teacher and not do it for this teacher, and just to get so many rules in place. And we finally feel like with this initiative, we finally listened to them, and now we're playing on their turf, on their terms, and it's really made the difference. This particular initiative has spawned off a number of other initiatives, meaning we've had a number of teachers who we didn't ask them to go and turn their classrooms into flipped classrooms, but they came to us and said, hey, I flipped my classroom. Or in one case, we had a teacher, a 6th grade math teacher who, I call her class flipped on steroids, because she not only took it to the level of flipping the classroom, but her students do their work either at home or in the classroom, and she just literally walks around and facilitates their learning as they're doing their learning. And then she asks them to report back, usually at the end of a unit of instruction. She'll report back, have them demonstrate their learning in some way, whether it be using a whiteboard or this particular math teacher who I like to say is flipped on steroids. She asks her students to demonstrate their learning, and in some way, whether it be on a trifold or doing an iMovie or doing a blog of some sort. They have to demonstrate their learning. It's math, so they have to demonstrate. They have to show the steps of the processes. We had one student that came and said, I really would like to do what you do, teacher. I'd like to film myself teaching. And so what app do you use for that? And, oh, well, I use EduCreations. Okay, great. So he started using that app. He started developing a little film of his knowledge of the learning. And he realized really quickly that he needed to find a way to share that back with the teacher, and realized that his Dropbox was actually too full to share back. So he's like, what am I going to do with this? And he went back to the teacher and said, I don't know how to get back to you. And he said, I'd like to try some other method, and maybe use that thing that you're using. And it happened to be iTunes U. She uses iTunes U in her classroom. And this is 6th grade math, so these are 11-year-olds coming to us. And he said, well, I'd like to use that. And so he went home, researched how to, she didn't tell him at all how to do iTunes U, how to set up a course. He did the research himself, set it up, put his video on iTunes U, and then he invited her to enroll in his class. And so it totally flipped, not just flipped classroom, but flipped learning. So now the teacher was the student and the student was the teacher. So, and that has caught on like wildfire amongst all of our other teachers in other subject areas. So that's the neat thing, is that once one teacher started doing that model, other teachers said, I think I might be able to do that with social studies, or I might be able to do that with science, you know, and they started doing it as well. We said even early on that it wasn't about the device, and we also took that a little one step further and said it's not about the app either. You know, it's way bigger than that. And all of our students have, like I say, kindergarten through 8th grade, all of our students have Google Apps for Education accounts. They all have their own email, they all have their own Apple IDs, they have their own iCloud accounts, they have their own Dropbox accounts, they have a lot of our teachers use Schoology or Edmodo as their platforms for their classrooms. I'm excited to see how Google Classroom will change that as well. So I know our teachers will probably jump right on that. But because of that whole digital workflow and environment, our teachers now know how to teach in a one-to-one environment. So I don't think we'll ever go back from not being one-to-one. In fact, we'll probably be 2-to-1, 3-to-1, who knows what. But it could be any device at this point, because our students are so used to going back and forth between the Google world and the Apple world and the this app world, and you know, it really doesn't matter. They have, I mean, if they want to write a paper, they've got Pages, or they've got Google Document, or they've got you know, Microsoft now with the Microsoft Word app and everything. So they've got so many different ways that they can communicate their learning to their teachers now, that it really just means access to the internet, I think, is where the big thing is. That's the question we've been asking a lot lately, is what's next? You know, now we're here, we've made it, attained this certain level of instruction and a certain level of expertise over the technology. What do we do next? Where are we going? And part of it, I think, is bandwidth, is trying to get a bigger pipe. We already had to bring in a bigger pipe to the internet. We have a 500 meg pipe right now to the internet, which is pretty big for our size school district, but it's compensating right now for where we're at. But who knows in a year from now even if that's going to be a big enough pipe. So that's one thing that you know, we're going to be constantly looking at. But we're also looking at places to store content and to grab content. Our teachers are big time into making their own textbooks now through iBooks Author and some of the other authoring tools that are out there. They've been creating for almost 2 years now units of instruction. And we invested this last year in Safari Montage, which is a great place for storing a lot of that content, becoming a repository. They are a learning object repository. So that's someplace where we're headed in terms of what we're doing next, is developing that library. I think something I learned about last year at the School CIO Summit was the learning registry, the online learning registry, the government's learning registry, and I think it's learningregistry.gov, and that's going to be an incredible tool too. In fact, Safari Montage tapped right into it. So that's where I see things going, is being able to pull all of that content together and have a one-stop shop for our teachers to have as many tools for whatever the learning that their students are requiring, whether it's you know, just their own learning styles or their own teaching styles. We'll have a tool for any of those type of things. You know, that's the thing, is forming my own PLN, you know, professional learning network, with and using the different tools to do that, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. Those are some ways. But also coming to events like Tech Forum. It's finally an opportunity for me to stay ahead of the curve. My teachers look to me to bring them the new technologies and to bring them new ideas and thought processes that are out there for education. And we feel like we're on the cutting edge already, but you know, we're always looking for what is that next thing. And the only way we can do that is to tap into events like Tech Forum, like the School CIO Summit. We tap into some of our listservs. We have a couple state listservs that we have for different user groups. You know, it's interesting, professional development-wise, it seems like we are also relying on, and I rely on, professional development, of actually going to the different vendors themselves and saying, okay, this is professional development for teachers, but what about me? I'm the one that's got to run the behind the scenes stuff. I got to make sure that it works so that when the teachers go to it, it'll work flawlessly. And so I'm going to them as well. So there's a lot of avenues, and it's I think becoming more of a place where it's trying to decide who is the most credible source for what I'm trying, and being okay with the fact that they may not have the right answer or have all the answers, depending on who I tap into. Because I think we're all learning this stuff together, and we're all moving forward together, and it's not a competition. It's what is best for students, and what can we do to better ourselves to be the best we can for our students.